Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Simply Spooky with Viv and Dan. I hope you're all doing well out there. I hope you've had a good week since we last spoke to you, unless you watched one of our programs on last Wednesday. Then it wouldn't be quite a week. But anyway, I digress. Hello, Viv. How are you this evening?
I'm fine. How are you, Dan?
Very good, thanks. Very good. I hope. Have we got anybody? Can anybody out there give us a shout? Just put a little post on so that we know that we're actually going live and we're broadcasting to you guys.
Yeah, and if you want to, share it in the chat as well, if you like.
Yeah, share in the chat as well. That'd be great,
don't mind.
Please.
I'm about to share.
Ooh,
nice.
share alike.
That's the
Well,
saying.
when we left you last week, we were pondering on what to speak about this week, and we came to the conclusion, you probably know anyway, you listened to the end of the programme, that we would talk about animal spirits. That was right, Viv, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And that's the subject that we're going to broach this evening. And if you've got any stories, put them down in the chat. And, yeah, we'll read them out if we can. Just send in a message. That'd be great.
Thank you, Matt.
Hi, Paranormal Consultant. I hope you're all good. Thank you.
I think that's his name, Matt. I'm not sure.
I think it is.
Well, if it's not, I'll call him Matt anyway. Is that all right,
it's Matt? I think it's Matt, isn't it? Yeah, it's Matt. Look at us. We're not even started yet. We can't get his name right. Sorry. I think we have, though. I think Viv's got it right. I think it's Matt. Is there anybody else out there in the chat that would like to come forward and say hi? Oh, it sounds like I'm doing a vigil at a ghost hunt.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? That's good.
If you're there, knock once for yes. Clearly, if you're not there, don't bother knocking. Oh, excellent. Good. I'm glad to hear that, Matt. Excellent stuff. Jolly good.
Are you okay? Are you okay, Dan?
I'm fine, thank you, Viv. How are you?
Oh, he's just confirmed he is Matt, yeah.
I think I'm Matt. I'm never sure who I am, to be honest with you, Matt. You know, from one day to the next.
I've been suffering a little bit this week. I've got real bad toothache. Oh. And I've started some treatment as well. So yeah,
toothache is the worst. Really,
it's been a bit weird.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the antibiotics for it, I hope.
Yes, I'm taking lots of antibiotics. I'm sick.
Good. Is it making any difference?
Not really.
Mind you, it takes a day or two to bed in, doesn't it? If you've started it recently.
Yeah.
So so we're going to talk about animal spirits this evening, and we're going to talk about different. Hello, Andy, there in the background. I hope you're good, mate.
He can't hear you because got earplugs in.
Oh, fair enough.
Just wave.
I did. I forgot the thumbs up.
All right. Okay,
so,
right.
What should we talk about, Viv? Is there any particular instance that you would like to give or talk about?
Yes, I'm going to start off with. I'm going to start off. Can I just start off? But before we get into it, happy Imbolic, everybody. So those that don't know, it's Imbolic today, which is a what would you call it? It's part of
pagan Sabbath.
Yeah, part of the pagan calendar, if you like. And it's celebrating sort of coming towards the end of winter and going now into spring months. So getting rid of the darkness and coming into the light, if you like, even though we're not quite light yet, but it's the start of it. So yeah, so I've lit some candles there to celebrate Imbolic. Oh, that's a bit better. You can see that. So the candles are there lit up, all on the shelf.
Very nice.
They're not smelly ones or anything. I'm not that posh, but
like the American, is it American? No, Yankee Candle Company, isn't it? That's the one.
Yankee Candle, yeah.
That's the one. They're expensive, aren't they?
Oh, but they are lovely.
I
do like a Yankee Candle.
They are the best ones out there, to be fair.
So, that's a bit harsh.
Today's been a really nice springy day today. It's been like, where I am, it's been dry. It's been a bit chilly, but it's been dry and the sun's been out and it's been quite bright. It's been lovely.
Hi from Texas.
Charles. Thanks for joining us, Charles.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
So I've been doing my ritual of the cleaning for Embolic. I've started this room. It's my office / podcasting room, spare room, if you like, the little box room, which has all the bookshelves and all the books and everything in it. So, yeah, so I started to do that for Embolic. But you'll notice as well, because we're talking about animals, there.
Yes.
It's the Eye of the Tiger.
Eye of the
And
Tiger.
we are in the Year of the Tiger this year. So
We are.
for the Chinese New Year, that was on Monday, yesterday.
I don't want to talk about tigers.
So was it called Kung Hei Fat Choi? So Happy New Year, everybody.
Kung Hei Fat Choi, yes.
Yes.
Happy New Year to everybody out there. If you're Chinese, and if you're not, and you just like, Happy New Year anyway. Blessed Embolic to you, Terry.
Blessed be
I hope you're
to
all
you,
good,
Terry.
mate. I hope you're all good.
No, it's not
Woof,
woof woof.
woof.
If you look there, it's so tigers, Dan. Right.
Tigers.
Just quickly, why you don't want to talk about tigers. So just quickly say why you don't want to talk about a tiger, and then we'll move on.
Oh, I've worked in zoos. I was a zookeeper for many, many years, and then when I left zoos, I went into sort of. I did a thing. It was work for children and also adults. It was a talks company, wildlife talks company. But whilst I was a zookeeper, I used to mainly work with wolves, but it all comes under the umbrella of predators. So I also had to take care of things like tigers and lions and leopards and cheetahs and all of those wonderful, beautiful animals. And part and parcel of the actual job description was that we used to go in with the big cats and we would ingratiate ourselves. And these cats sort of knew most of them since they were born. They knew the keepers since they were born because the keepers hand-reared them. But there was one cat there that I wasn't there when she was born, so I wasn't part of the hand-rearing. Therefore, I don't think she considered me part of the family. Even though they're solitary animals, when they're in captivity, it's a different ball game. So this particular cat we used to go in with, and just to cut a long story short, she used to have this habit of running at you. And what she would do is she would try and push the boundaries like a child, push the boundaries and push and push and push to see what you could get away with and to see your breaking point. And so what she would do is she would run across the enclosure and she would jump onto you, and she'd put her paws around you and she'd start she'd put your elbow or your hand in her mouth and she'd start playing with it. And hi, Jacqueline. Hope you're well. And this one particular day, she took a long run up at me. And I just caught her out the corner of my eye, and she leapt. And as she leapt, she got completely airborne, and she caught me. And we both went down together, and she landed on my neck and shoulder, and she snapped my arm in two, and I had to have reconstructive surgery. It was bad. It was major surgery I had to have, and they pinned the arm and they rebuilt the shoulder. The shoulder apparently was it was just in bits when they opened the shoulder up.
How heavy can they get, those tigers? Are they really
well?
heavy?
We used to have. I mean, I'm not sure what it would be. I mean, I'm old school, so it's all pounds and stones with me.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that used to look after them, we had one called Rakan or Rocky. He was gorgeous, absolutely beautiful cat, and he was really docile. But he was probably getting on for, including the tail, getting on for like 10 feet long.
Wow.
Yeah. And he had a head. To give you an idea,
is he Bengali? Is he Bengali?
No, he was actually half and half. He was Siberian Bengali. So he was a mixture. But he had the genetics from the Bengali, that growth hormone that made him massive, big. So
big, but fluffy to the touch.
He was gorgeous. He was gorgeous. Yeah. He was soppy. He was like a dog more than a cat. He'd come and he'd sit on you and he'd rub his head on you and he'd annoy you and he'd just all sorts of things. But he was, to give you an idea, I'm sort of 5'11", and if he sat down on his haunches, just sat down like a normal cat would, his head would be be level with mine. Mm-hmm. So he was big animal, and he used to weigh. The guy estimated he did have him weighed, but this is a year or so after he'd been weighed and he could put more weight on. The guy had estimated he was around about 45, 50 stone mark. So
wow.
a lot.
Jesus Christ.
But But yeah, but that's it. That was it. That's the story, really. That was it.
So, do you know of any sort of big cats that haunt places in England? Have you heard of any?
I've not heard. I've obviously there's been big cat sightings, so you know, people, and it's not unusual to hear these stories. And I believe that well, I know it's real for a fact because I've seen things like lynx in the woods around here, which are, you know, and that was nothing to do with zookeeping. I just saw them when I was out with the dog for a walk years ago.
Yeah, we saw them when we
saw
ghost
one.
hunting.
We saw one, didn't we, when we were ghost hunting? So they're quite, you know. But the thing is that you know, they talk about panthers and leopards. Maybe, I don't know. They're quite elusive animals. So in the wild, you'd be very, very lucky to see one.
Yeah.
You know, you can be really close to you, but they're so well camouflaged and they're so good at hiding that, you know. And the thing is that they brought in here in the 70s. Lots of people like in the 1670s, 70s, farmers and people like rock stars and that. They had these big cats because they were like status symbols, and they had them because they could. They had the money and they could. And there was no license. And what happened was they brought in the two Doberman dogs apparently haunt them. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, I love Dobermans.
Yeah, they are gorgeous, beautiful Dobermans. That is very interesting.
Hi,
Bill. Wild Bill. Hope you're good. So what was I saying? Yes. So, hang on, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
So the big sightings of the
cats, wasn't I?
The sightings of the big cats.
You've frozen, Viv.
I haven't.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, as you can see, Vivian's frozen, so I don't know quite what's going on here. She did. Oh, you're back again.
I'm not frozen.
You were a minute ago. Oh, and again.
Weren't my end. Oh. Can you hear me, Dan? Dan's frozen.
I don't know what's going on here.
It's you
Bloody
that's freezing.
It's been a nightmare, this internet recently.
Hi, Irene.
Hi, Irene. I hope you're good. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, anyway. No, I just I learned something new today. So they brought in a law during the I think it was 1976, I think, or I might be wrong, but it was under the Dangerous Wild Animals law. So you couldn't keep an animal unless you had the proper licensing. So you had to be something like a zoo or a research facility. So you'd have like not research using animals for that type of research, but researching their habitats and their behaviours and that type of thing. So all bona fide above the level of the law institutions. So what happened were a lot of farmers and rock stars, they released the cats into the wild, and obviously they've taken up root, and I think they're fine. They don't really cause problems. I don't think. They might take the odd sheep, but yeah, not that bad. But as for spirit animals,
but in saying that though, Dan, we're seeing more and more big cat sightings in the UK, and people have managed to get photographs. So they're not just at night; these are at daytime too. And here in Cambridgeshire, there's been sightings of what looks like mountain lion, panther, and female lions. They just look all very similar, very big.
Doesn't surprise me.
One lady was taking pictures of them from her kitchen window. She could see it across in the field. There was a mother and her two babies. She said, and I knew there were big cats because of the way they were walking, their bone structure. And from the distance I was, that cat, if it was a household cat, wouldn't have shown.
No, you wouldn't have seen that size that far away.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting, the big cat sightings.
It is interesting.
Comes under the crypto thing, doesn't it, really?
It does. It does, actually. Which is, I was looking at that, the Bray Road werewolf, Bray Road dogman, whatever you want to call it. And somebody got some footage on there. They taken some photos and a little bit of footage of this, what they said was a dogman or a werewolf. But I looked at it, it's not. It's a wolf. And sometimes wolves do go up on their back legs for whatever reason.
Do they?
Yeah, well, they don't walk on their back legs continually, but they can. They can stand like dogs can.
Yeah.
For a dog, they can stand up and walk for a bit, and and it looks like it's a wolf on it standing up with its back legs. It doesn't look anything I'm not saying that that's the I don't know, the Beast of Bray Road. I'm saying that the guy who's taken this photo, who said it's the Beast of Bray Road, I don't think that particular photo is. I can't obviously talk for everybody else's sightings because I wasn't there and I don't know. But that particular sighting that he's shown the photo of. Hi, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline's back. Hi, Jacqueline.
It didn't look anything but a wolf.
So I want to ask you then, before we leave cats completely, there is some folklore in England about Syon Park.
Yeah.
Now, Syon Park is located in West London, and it's a beautiful. It's gardens, greenery. It stretches on for miles. Yeah, well, at Syon Park, on the walls of Syon Park, and they're very high brick-built wall. They look like castle walls. They have some cast iron lions, and their tail sticks out straight like that. It's like bing on these lions. And apparently the folklore is once a year, these lions are supposed to come to life and jump down off the wall and patrol Syon Park. It's just absolute it's nonsense, but it's folklore. And also, if you stare at the lions, so if you stand still and just look up at the lions and stare at them, apparently you're supposed to see their tails moving. Now, I've done this. And I think it's me, because once you start staring, your eyes go a bit funny and they fill up with tears. And I saw the tail moving, and I thought, "Nah, this is a trick. Yeah. This is." But apparently, these lions at Syon Park once a year are supposed to come to life and patrol the grounds of Syon Park, and also Trafalgar Square lions. I'm going to talk about them now. If you look at the Trafalgar Square lions, they're actually wrong. Now, I've been watching a guy called Dean Schneider. I'm a big fan of Dean Schneider on the internet, and I'll watch him day in, day out. And he is bringing up some hand-reared lions. And through watching his podcasts and shows, I've learned that lions don't sit sort of front paws like that, back paws all haunched and belly on the floor, that they can't do it. I don't know if that's true, Dan. I'm going to ask you. But apparently the way these lions are depicted in Trafalgar Square, and the ones you see in ancient Egypt, you see the way the big cats or the sphinxes are sitting, is actually untrue. They can't sit like that. They actually sit skew with their back legs, sort of both of them one way, not either side, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's awkward for them to sit normally, like a dog would or a cat would, because obviously the size of them and the weight of them. But it's whatever makes the way they feel comfortable, really, I guess.
So it's a lie then. The Trafalgar Square lions, one of the famous lions in the world, are actually wrong.
Sounds it, doesn't it? It does sound it. I mean, I'm not really a lion expert because I did work with them, but I didn't. My main area of study is wolves.
Yeah.
I studied them for like 30 years of study and work with them, but with lions and tigers and stuff like that, with an actual raccoon dog.
A raccoon dog?
How close to? Do you know what, Irene? I used to have a raccoon dog. I used to own one. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But he got naughty. He's all. What was that? Werewolf, their wolf.
So wolves. Let's move on to wolves. So wolves. Yeah. Now, the largest wolf in the world has got gangly legs. Dan, what is it called?
Oh, you're on about the maned wolf.
Is that what they're called? They're
great big... Well, they call it fox on stilts because it's more fox, really.
It's got like big gangly legs.
Yeah, they're South American. The legs are that long because where they come from in the native territory, native habitat, there's lots of sort of high, tall grasses like bamboo grasses and what do you call those, like ferns and stuff.
Yeah.
So the long legs help them see above the grass.
Okay.
But they live on rodents. They're rodent predators, really. They don't really eat anything bigger than a rodent.
Could they be mistaken for dogman?
No, they're very distinctive. They're very, very distinctive.
What about if you had one with mange? Could that be a chupacabra?
Well, you know what? They got some guy got some video footage of. I think it was on that program, Fact or Fiction or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. The American one with the guy. The guy was I think he was in the FBI. There was the other guy. There was a few people in it. Yes, there was a few different people in it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the program was called actually. They used to meet up in a room.
Yeah.
And then they would
Fact or Fiction. Fact or
something
Fiction.
like that. I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. That was that, I think. And they what were we talking about? Sorry,
Chupacabra. That thing with mange.
Right. One of them brought this thing to the table, and it was a sighting in a video of an animal that was it was. I remember that program. It was a very good program. Irene, it was very good. He brought this video and he said, this is what this guy's got. He's seen it. We're going to go out and we're going to see if we can catch it. And the guy said, I've got one. He had one in the freezer. And as soon as I saw it, I said to Hazel, that's a hybrid. I said, It's got mange. I said, that's not that anybody, I guess, knows what Chupacabra looks like, but that's not that. So I'll tell you what it was. And it was like, I think it was wolf coyote hybrid. And it had mange, and that was what it was. But that's the thing. There's lots and lots of these myths and legends out there, aren't there? But I don't know what percentage the truth is, fact or fiction, really.
But people say that the dire wolf is the biggest wolf. Now I know that the dire wolf looks nothing like a dog, like the dog we know.
The dire wolf is called Canis dirus. And the dire wolf was around about 100,000 years ago. But at the beginning of the Ice Age, what happened was grey wolves ran concurrently with these dire wolves. The dire wolves were big, strong, tough animals. But as the Ice Age came along, they couldn't really compete with the grey wolf.
No.
So the dire wolves died out around about 10,000 years ago.
I'm trying to find a photograph of one, but I can't. Well, they're not looking. They're looking like how we perceive dire wolves to be.
Yeah, they're big animals, or were big animals.
It's just showing me all the Game of Thrones stuff on here, which is...
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to have a wolf that big, but it's
cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's nothing like...
Although I have had to take wolves home when I've been hand rearing them.
Have you really?
To be honest, I've been glad to take them back to the zoo again, because they're nightmares. They're into everything. Everything. They wreck your house, your garden, everything. It's fun having them at home. Real fun. Yeah?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that was it, Bill. That was it. It was, yeah. It was.
And not the normal canine.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
while we talk about dogs, or that kind of breed, the wolf that comes under that family, let's talk about hauntings with dogs, because we have, as human beings have a great love of animals, and mainly the biggest one I would say would be a dog. So when you have a dog and you bring the dog up, and sadly that dog's going to pass away before you because of life expectancy, sometimes dogs come back. Now, you know of a story, Dan, of Ruffin with a dog, particularly.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to explain, everybody?
No, you tell them that one. It's a good story. You tell them.
Well, see, the chairman of Ruffin Air Base had kept dogs, and one of his dogs passed away, and he buried it by the control, not too far. I'm going to say by the control tower. I'm going to keep the place a little bit secretive.
Yeah, yeah.
So he buried it by the control tower at Ruffin, and he always asks people, let me know if you hear a dog. Let me know if you hear a dog. So having a dog on an air base is not unusual. People did keep dogs at air bases. But I was lucky enough on one occasion to actually record the sound of a dog barking. And we checked everywhere. Where could this sound of the dog barking come from? Was there a dog that was running loose on the airfield? Nothing. Played it back to him and he started crying. Clint started crying. He said, "That's my dog." He called it.
They recognised the the tone of the dog.
So sometimes dogs can come back, whether they're in the, whether they're interactive or they're just verbal or whatever. I've also known people to have gone into a certain venue. I'm not going to mention which it is. I don't even think you can get in it anymore. And people would come out of there with scratches. Okay. So it was a London venue. The scratches all down their arm, and you see the scratch form and you see the welts, and sometimes the skin was even broken. That's how bad these scratches were. And they weren't scratches from brushing up against something.
They were like deliberate free scratches.
Real bad scratches. Anyhow, people would get on this craze, and please, I don't apologise, America. This craze about everything being a demon. Oh, the demon scratched me.
Oh, it's annoying, isn't it?
What they didn't know was they were ghost hunting in a very notorious dogfighting place. They had underground dogfighting there.
Oh, really?
Which is illegal here in the UK. But they used it. They had the pit there that they used to throw the dogs in. They'd have some big dogs. They'd have little bait dogs. But yeah, it was a major dog fighting ring that.
And that's what it was.
Yeah. So the dogs were pleased to see somebody jumping up, of course. And then they were running. Yeah. They were running out. I saw investigators, and some of them, like back then, was my own team, running out like little girls screaming, "Oh, I've been scratched by a demon! Oh, it really hurts!" Or "Look at my back," and they'd lift their shirt up. And I'd be standing there laughing at them because I was the only one that knew the history. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was quite sad. I mean, that place has been demolished now. It's been demolished now, but
I was gone.
Yeah, but I felt quite sorry for the animals because the animals were still there, obviously, and I'm pleased to see a human being, and that was it. So
I've had a couple of incidences. I had one. In a pub.
Hi, Lois.
Hi, Lois. I hope you're good. I had one in a pub a few years ago. I was doing a lot of animal centuries ago. It seemed to be larger. Yeah, exactly. Dogs are great investigation. Chaplain Dixon Rocky was out with us and he spotted something. Yeah, they are good. They are clever. Need to run.
No problem, Bill.
Cheers, Bill. Take it easy. Speak to you soon. Take it easy. Stay safe.
Should throw them in with the dogs. Yeah, exactly.
I used to have a dog years ago. I had it since I was a kid. It was bought for me.
Hi, Chantel.
Hi, Chantel. It was bought for me when I was a little kid. I think I was about 9, 10 maybe. Anyway, I was at primary school, and I always wanted a dog. And my parents had dogs ever since they were kids, particularly Dad. And it was like the old adage, isn't it? If you can have a dog, if you can prove you can look after it and walk.
Yeah.
And it was all that, wasn't it? I'm not taking the dog out when you got to, you've got to remember when it's raining, it's cold. You still got to be out early in the morning and late at night.
Take it out,
that animal and bring
clear up all the muck.
Clear up all the muck. Yeah, all of that. Yeah, exactly. And I had this dog, and this dog was she was called Smokey. We called her Smokey, and she was a beautiful little thing. She was just a mongrel. She was a mixed breed. And just a lovely, lovely little thing. And I had her right the way through till she lasted 22. So 12, 13 years old. And she passed away. The weird thing was I was at my uncle's. He lived from where my mum and dad lived. He lived probably 70 miles away. So I was at my uncle's, just spending time there with my cousins and stuff like that. Saturday night, and I remember stopping dead in my tracks and saying, just blurt it out, Smokey's dead. Smokey's dead. And my uncle went, no, don't be silly. He went, she's fine. He said, I'm sure she's fine. There's nothing wrong going there. And then when I came home, they didn't tell me, my mum and dad, and that when I was away. But when I came home, they said, or my mum, my dad was gone by that point. She said that, Smokey's passed away. And I said, when did she pass away? And she said, we found her. She was behind the sofa. She'd gone there to lay down, and she passed away on Saturday night.
Aww.
And I said, about what time? She went, we're not sure. She went, but around about 10 o'clock, which was exactly
The
time
time
that I got the feeling that, you know, that connection. And then I'd go into the bedroom. My mum and dad had the, I don't know if the Americans know what they are, parquet flooring, we call it, don't we? It's like wooden floors.
It's not wooden floors that sort of fit together in a narrow shape.
That's it, like a herringbone type thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
And the dog, you used to always hear the dog on this floor. And then one night I was laying in bed, and obviously the dog had been gone a few weeks, and I heard her coming up the hall. Mm-hmm. And of course it's exciting, isn't it? Because you think, oh, she's still here. That's brilliant. That's like an affirmation. And I thought, okay, it's great. Then the bed, at the end of the bed where I was, where she used to go, she got on the bed, and you'd feel the compression and the compression of her. And there was that one. There was another one as well where I lost one of my wolves. She was one of my first wolves, first European wolf. And she was really special. They all are, but she was really special because she was one of the first European wolves born in England for 700 years. Long time. Yeah. So she was a walking piece of history as much as anything else. And I bonded with her like I'd never bonded with any animal. And they used to say to me that she knows you're coming. We know when you're coming 5 minutes before you get here, because she jumps up on that hill and she gets all excited and she jumps around and she does it. And they said, we know when you're on your way because she'll do that. And I said, yeah, but she could do that anyway. They said, no. When your day's off, because days off are rolling, they split them up in zoos. So they're never the same days, and it's mixture. And sometimes you get the day off, sometimes you don't. And they said, even the days off, she doesn't bother. She doesn't run up the hill. So they know that she'd recognised me. And she passed away, and it devastated me. It broke my whole world into a zillion pieces. Sad to say, but more so, it hurt me more than it did with a lot of people that I know that have passed, including some family members, you know. And horrible thing to say, isn't it, really? But I loved her so much, and I just couldn't get over it. I wouldn't eat, and I was feeling like crap. And
did she come back to see you? Did you ever see her in spirit?
I never saw her in spirit, but the weird thing was that I made a booking to see a psychic, or no, a medium, up at there was a shop, you know, at Viv in St Albans. Terry knows it as well, called Isis, and I didn't tell them what it was about. I didn't tell them anything. I thought, I'm just going to go in there and she can give me a reading and do whatever, and maybe she can help me out. So she turned around and said, oh, hello. She went, I think I know why you're here. And I went, why? She went, well, a couple of minutes before you just come in, she said, a wolf came in and went upstairs where we're going to go. And that was like, I'm sorry? She went,
she had to repeat it.
Wolf spirit had come in and it had gone upstairs. Now, anybody else said that to you, you'd think you're balmy. But no, she knew it. It was absolutely right. And she did a few things and it got really cold in the room and I felt wind and air moving around me like I've never felt before. Yeah. And she said, that's wolves. She said, they're around you. They're running around you. She said, they're just showing you that they're there and stuff. That was amazing. That was amazing.
That is cool. That
was cool. That was cool. And another friend who worked at the zoo, he loved cats, like domestic cats. Oh, that's a good name.
Twist Woo. That's brilliant.
That's brilliant. Oh, yeah, that's horrible, Lois. Heartbreaking. I empathise
from that,
you as well.
What you've got to take is, when one of your pets pass away now, and I've honestly, I've broken my heart over a few of my pets. What you've got to remember is your pets now will always walk beside you in spirit. You know, you might not see them. Sometimes you're not even aware of them, but they will always walk beside you, like Dan and his wolves. Like she ran in the shop before Dan got up there. You know, these animals do come back. You know, like humans come back, they'll always come back. So that's what you've got to take. You know?
Yeah. And so the guy, this guy called
hang on, before you go into that, Dan.
The greatest apology from humans. Yeah. Yeah,
that is true.
I completely agree with you. So my mate, he worked at the zoo and he loved cats. not big cats. Had no interest in big cats, but he loved domestic cats, and he had a few at home himself, or his mum did. And he went to live at the zoo. Like a few of us ended up living at the zoo permanently, and he had like a mobile home set up, quite nice. And he said, I like it. And I said, what? He said, I like it. He was talking to another keeper. He said, I like it. He said, but it's getting on my nerves a bit now. He said, because every night I'm trying to get to sleep. He went, I just can't get to sleep.
Yeah.
And she said to him, well, she went, it's quite, it's a privilege really, and it's good. He went, no, don't get me wrong. He went, it's lovely, but I just need to get some sleep. I'm not getting a lot of sleep. And so I said to him, what, Andy, what's going on? You got a woman coming round? What's going on there? Oh, no, he said. He said, I leave the window open at night. He said, and then I hear meowing. He said, the next thing I know, I hear something hit the windowsill, like a cat.
Yeah.
He said, then it jumps onto the bed. I'm fine with that. He said, not a problem. Then he said, I feel it like kneading, doing that cat thing, purring.
Yeah.
He said, and I can't get a bloody sleep. He said, I don't mind it being there. He said, I love it, but I can't get any sleep with it. And I thought, oh, okay, fair enough. But yeah, that was a weird thing. You would think in the zoo, wouldn't you? You would see a lot of exotic spirits of exotic animals, but no, it was a domesticated cat that was haunting the zoo. It was cool though. It was pretty cool.
Oh, sorry, I nipped out then to see if I could save something.
No,
down.
you're fine. So yeah, I mean, Viv, tell them about the one. I'm
going to share a screen.
Sorry, yeah, go on. I'll just tell you now.
I'm going to try. See if you can. I've never done this before, so bear with me. It could go wrong.
If it's to do with you and me, it will do, won't it?
Let's see what happens. Right,
and of course, me and Terry, we experienced a ghost dog at one of the forts, one of the old Napoleonic forts.
Here we go.
That was one of the officers' dogs, apparently.
This is what I'm going to share with you. Can you see that, everyone? Let me know if you see that, Dan.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. I can't see anything at the minute. All I can see is the picture itself. So while I've got it, I'm just going to quickly share with everybody. Now, I don't know how much of this you can see. Can you see it being zoomed in?
You'll like this one, Chantal.
Can you see this being zoomed in?
Yeah.
Okay. So this picture has not been doctored in any way, shape or form. All that happened was we turned it sepia. That's all we did. Now I'm zooming in, so I'm going to show you guys now what I want you to look at. Can you see that zoomed in, guys? Can you see that, Dan?
Yeah, it's all zoomed in. We can see it. It's good.
Okay, so in the chat, let me know what you think you can see. Dan, I don't know if you can see the things in the chat. You might have to read them out.
Yeah, really good.
So,
really good.
So can you see anything in there? Now, I know what I can see, but I don't want to influence you. I don't want to influence anybody.
No.
But there we are looking at two things. I don't know if you can see my mouse. I don't know if you can see that here.
Yeah, we can see the mouse, the point of the mouse.
Right, so that bit there is all flare from a flash. So just ignore this part. I want you to look at everything else and tell me what you can see. Is there anything come up in the chat yet, Dan?
I can't see in the chat. Have you got the chat your end, Viv?
I can't see it. I've just got the picture.
Nothing's come up in the chat as yet.
Okay.
But I don't know if it... Would it come up normal? Would it just come up on its own, or?
Let me just talk about this then. So this picture was taken at an extreme haunting, and there are two things that you can see in this picture. I'll quickly tell you the story. We could smell what would smell like horse manure. Okay. And it was rank. It was like it was fresh. It had just been dropped. And we were smelling this for days. And then on the second night, I think this picture was taken. And what you can see here is the horse's eye. I don't know if you guys can see this. You've got the horse's head there with its muzzle, whatever you want to call that bit there. But there's the horse's eye. There's a bit of flash there, sheen off of it. you've got a knight with the horse, and we know this is a knight because here, if you look here, you can see his helmet, and it's got the slit there and the nose piece, and then you've got the shoulder. There's some sort of arm. It's really smooth. It's a really amazing picture. But the horse and his knight, the knight leading in with the horse, and this was taken in somebody's home. So I'm just going to come out of this picture now, just if everyone doesn't mind. Do you mind? Can I come out?
No, that's great. I love it. I love that photo. It's brilliant. Absolutely superb.
Let me stop sharing this, and I'll come back, hopefully, somehow.
Yeah, you're back.
Oh. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, you're still there.
Okay, hang on. I've done something silly. Bear with me. There, I'm back. So after an ordeal, let's just say that the knight went away, but the horse remained. We completely forgot about the horse, but that was a picture taken of a ghost horse, if you like, which we were absolutely amazed because we were smelling it. And of course, like my colleague, she's blaming me. Viv, if you drop one, you know, and I'm going, no, honestly, that's not a fart, surely. And then somebody else would walk in the room and was like, you farted, you know, and left it for us. And it wasn't. It really was. What we were smelling was the horse smelt disgusting. It just smelt of manure. And every time we smelt that, we smelt it a few times. And then we were, by sheer luck, we got
you got that photo. It's a cracking photo, isn't it? It's a really good photo. It's a good image, great image. That's it, Terry. It was Amherst. Exactly. Good memory, mate. Yeah, it is, Chantal. That's why I said you'll like this, Chantal, because you like your horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the one, Chantal. Yeah. Brilliant.
So we were lucky. So I think that's the only ghost or apparition, if you like, or anything to do with an animal that we was ever able to catch. I haven't got anything yet to date. You know, we've had experiences with animals, but never actually photographed a spirit animal. I mean, I'm sure, who knows, in the future we might get another one, Dan. But since
I got nudged out of the way once by a spirit dog in a pub that I was investigating. I was behind the bar with the landlord, and he was describing some of the activity and stuff. And all of a sudden, my leg, my hip, something touched it and pushed me out the way, and then as it went through, I could feel it rubbing off my leg. And the guy looked at me and he went, "You all right?"
He's been nudged.
My leg your leg's been touched, isn't it? I went, "Yeah, it has." He went, "Yeah." He said, "There's a dog that haunts this pub." He said, "One of the old pub dogs from about 100 odd years ago."
Telling you, get out of the way. I had that smell at Warwick Castle and went back in the day, no smell. Yeah, people often tend to associate bad smells with bad spirits, but that's actually
nonsense.
That's not true. Absolutely not
nonsense.
True. I'm off, my darlings. Take care.
Lois, awesome. Take care. Lovely to speak to you. Have a good week.
I would share your life, but I've now got 25 offences against Facebook. Oh, bless
Good
her.
Woman.
Oh, she's brilliant.
Good woman. Excellent. Good work.
Hi, Mary.
Hiya. How you doing, Mary? Hope you're good.
Can we see the picture zoomed out for perspective? Yes. Oh, God. Right, I'm going to try and share this screen again. Bear with me, guys. So what you're about to see, right, I'll zoom out. There is a 2-layer haunting. So ignore the first layer because we know what that is. That's something else. But we're focusing on the animals. And it was actually taken in somebody's loft in the roof of their house. It
was in the attic, wasn't it?
In the attic, yeah. So I'll try and share it again. So bear with me, guys. It could go wrong. I'm not very technical.
Oh, I don't know. You've been quite the wizard this evening.
Oh, I don't know, Dan.
Oh, you have. You've been good.
I'm going to try it again.
You've been hiding your light under a bushel. That's what they say, wasn't it?
Is that what they say? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you've been hiding your light under a bushel. It means you've been hiding your talents.
Right, hang on. There you go.
That is pretty cool. There's other stuff going on in there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, you see here, There's a man in a tweed coat.
Yeah, I
with
can
his
see that.
his head to one side. We know
Yeah,
about
yeah, I
him.
can see that. That's pretty cool.
So he's like a different layer of haunting. And then you've got this here. And then here you can see
the rafters, aren't they?
The rafters of the roof, yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool.
So that is him. So there you
what
go.
really annoys me is when people turn around and say animals don't have spirits, so when they die, they just die. And it's like, really? I don't think so. Really grates on me.
I'm back.
You know?
I'm back.
You're back. It does annoy me when people say animals don't have spirits, so therefore they don't, you know.
I can actually get that.
Yes.
I have got that picture somewhere if you want to see it. Or I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to get it.
Was that the one? Did Uncle Norm take that, or you, Viv?
No, that was Andy that took that picture.
Oh, was it? Didn't Uncle Norm take one as well?
Well, Andy took the one with... we're going to have to do a show on apparitions, you know, Dan, and we're going to have to go through our archives and get them up. But Castle Rising, Andy took a picture of the she-wolf herself, Queen Isabella, and at her feet were
that was the night we were there, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 Irish wolfhounds at the bottom.
Terry was there as well that night. We were all
there.
He
was there that night, yeah. That's pretty cool.
It is, Mary. It's very cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that comes several times. Yeah, that is
brilliant.
Lovely. So yeah, so that is the knight with his
armor and his horse.
His horse.
Kingdom Come horse.
He's actually, that picture is actually going in the book because I'm going to write the story of that haunting.
Cool picture.
I've got to finish the other book first, but I will write the book with that story. And that picture will be in the book. So
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a similar thing to that at Village Farm in Skegness. A couple of times we heard a cat in the thing with us, and sorry about noise in the background. We had a cat in the background with us, we could hear it in the background, and we picked it up on audio as well. We couldn't find a cat. We looked all over the house, and the woman said, "Yeah, oh no, that farmhouse has got a spirit of a cat in it." Now you experienced something in the Mud and Stud.
The Mud and Stud, I heard the cat, and I said about there was a cat in there, and I said no, definitely a cat. And the woman came in with me, heard the cat, she had to call the caretaker because he had to get up into the loft of the Mud and Stud to make sure.
Because there's no access, is there, to people up there?
No, and he had to make sure there was no cat stuck up there. But we searched high and low, there's no cat. No, and that's
very odd, but cute. I like those type of hauntings. I like all hauntings, but I like animal hauntings. You know, if you hear something or feel something like a nudge, it's brilliant.
Another dog.
Yes, that's right. You know what? You're right, Terry. Do you know what? Good memory, Terry. Terry got an investigation he got to know one of the, I don't know what you call wardens or parks and recreation people. And this guy was in charge of Rye House. Now, Rye House is quite a renowned place. It used to be, it dates back quite a few hundred years. It was built by a knight years and years, Norwegian knight years and years ago. And then it had different incarnations through the years. And it was where, who was it? It was where, I can't think which one it was. It was one of Henry VIII's wives. She grew up there. So it's always had that sort of connection with royalty. And there was a plan there. And the plan was they were going to hijack Charles II and kill him. That was part of it, wasn't it? Yeah. But they were going to hijack Charles II and kill him. But he was with his cousin, his cousin later became James I of Scotland and the UK. And they decided that they'd take a different route back. So it was foiled. And they executed them. But there was a guy who used to work in there and centuries ago. And apparently he wouldn't really integrate or talk to anybody. But I felt a dog by my legs, a tiny little dog, and it was walking around me. And I put my hand down. It was almost, I couldn't see anything, but I could feel something. It's like a fur or something. And I said to the guy, I said, is there any dogs here? He went, yeah. He said, the old guy who used to look after this, he went back a couple of 100 years or so, when I can't remember, hundreds of years back. He had a dog. He said it was a little dog that he used to have. He said it'd be about the right height where your hand is. So, yeah, I thought that. So that was lovely. That was lovely. The guy was there, I think, but he used to sit in the background.
Chantal said, I had a reading a while ago. The first thing said was, I had a brown and white dog with me always. As a little girl in primary school, I had a brown and white German pointer.
Oh, lovely German pointers.
That was my best friend, died of old age. There is no reference or pictures on any social media, so no way of making this up. I mean, do you know what? When that comes through like that, I think it's just wonderful. It's beautiful, isn't it? It sort of warms the heart, you know.
It's lovely. It's lovely. It's amazing, isn't it? Because if you saw the spirit of a person, it would make you a little bit. If you think of seeing the spirit of an animal, doesn't really faze you, does it?
Well, here's something that people won't know, and it talks about. It's a bit about attachments, but not, if you know what I mean. Right. So let me just quickly tell you. I was with Ghost Quest and filmed at the Salutation Inn, and at the Salutation Inn, they have caves at the bottom of this pub that's really old, lovely, jubbly, you know, all the team went down to the caves. That's where they wanted to film and that's where they wanted to be. But me being me and doing a little bit of cheating, using my mediumship, I thought caves is not where I want to be. The haunting is of a little girl in that place. Apparently she died. She got run over by a car or something, run her over. They brought her body in and put it in the cave. Anyway, this little girl's supposed to haunt there. All lovely. So that's what they went after. I was getting, you need to be in the pub part. This is what my guide was saying. You need to be in the pub part of the actual building. And he was guiding me to go upstairs. Now, me being me, wanted to do the investigation without my mediumship, without my guides, without any cheat, you know. So I shut him down and sent him packing. I said, no, doing this on my own. Go away, you know. Which is really what was very wrong of me to do that. I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, I went upstairs and I experienced something rush past me very quickly, very close to me. So close that I felt the breeze on my face, but I smelt wet dog. Okay, I'm 5'6", and this thing was bigger than me, but I felt it rush past my face, and then I smelt wet dog, and it scared me. So I went downstairs, grabbed the nearest guy, which happened to be Will, bless him, and dragged him up the stairs. And I was in a bit of a panic, and he was going, look, I'll be up in a minute. I'm going, no, you need to come now. And I literally physically grabbed him by the collar and pulled him upstairs. When he got up there, and I didn't say a word to him, he said, it smells like wet dog in here. And as we went to walk in a bit more, and I was behind him, I won't lie, I was a bit scared. I went in, pushed him forward as he walked in. Both of us at the same time heard this guttural growl. Now, it wasn't a dog's growl. It's a growl I've never heard in my life. It growled. Of course, that put the willies up. Will. And he didn't want to go any further. And I'm going, well, come on, we're going side by side. And, you know, he said, oh, this is where we need to do some investigating. So we ended up investigating with Spirit Box with the headphones, blindfold. I was asking questions. He was listening because he didn't know when I was asking a question, because hence the blindfold. And then he was hearing the growl through the Spirit Box. So that was interesting. It scared him that he threw the whole lot on the floor. He said, no, I'm walking away from this. It's just too much. It transpired. Let me tell you something. It transpired that the thing was a bear. How do we know it was a bear? Well, I went away. My guide, I'll tell you about my guide. My guide is a Canadian Indian, not Native American. my guide is an elder of a tribe, and my guide wears the bear skin in ceremonials, and he puts the bear head on and he does his dance and all that. He's quite old. It's nothing special, just an elder of a tribe. So there was a connection with the bear there. I'd pushed my guide away. And I felt horrible. I felt really horrible after the investigation, and so did Will, because we were experiencing this growling and the smell of wet dog and all the rest of it. We went home and we were hearing the growl. Well, I heard the growls at home. Will had heard growling for a little while, but then it went away, and then I continued with this growling for about a couple of weeks. I could hear it. I could smell the wet dog in my house. Anyway, long story short, and I was beginning to get depressed, really low mood, depressed, sniping at the husband, didn't want to do anything, got, very lethargic, very depressed. Anyway, I rang my friend Ashley, who happened to be a historian and knew a lot about that particular place. And while they were excavating in the caves, they found a jug that was intact. And on that jug was a beautiful painting of bear baiting in those caves. And he laughed at me. He said, "You must probably taken the bear home." And then the fucking penny, I should swear, but the penny dropped. I have a Canadian Indian bear. This thing walked past upstairs, bear. The smell of wet dog was the smell of his wet fur. The growling, yes, bears growl. I've never heard a bear growl. I don't know about you, Dan, being a zoo man. And I don't know what that sounds like. Could have we heard
like a
this
low
bear
rumble?
growl? And then to top that, this is a wild animal that wants to be set free. If you think about it spiritually, it was an animal that wanted to be set free. He saw my guide with me, attached itself to me. I then ended up having to, took this thing home unbeknownst to me. And then my guide, when I did work with him again afterwards, he did say, "You do nothing for 3 months. Don't work with me. Don't do anything for 3 months." He said, "You do nothing." So what was happening in the meantime was he was removing the bear. I mean, that thing ripped my aurific field to shreds. And I ended up having a physical attack, not from that, but because my aurific field was torn to shreds, I happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I ended up having a physical attack, which left a lot of physical injuries on me. But that's another story. But the bear, he'd latched onto me. And, people say in spirit, and even mediums say, "Oh, I can get rid of this, I can do that." This is a wild animal. When you're, as a zookeeper, if you're dealing with a wild animal, you wouldn't physically go in there and try and touch it, would you?
No, you deal with it on its own terms.
Exactly. And it took time, which is why I wasn't allowed to work with my guide for 3 months. And he made sure, 3 months, you're going to get nothing from me, because he was dealing with that bear, he was removing that bear and sorting the bear out, while I sort of just tried to get better, in myself. So, yeah, that was a horrible time. But that was an encounter with a spirit animal by sheer fluke. Didn't know what it was, and found out afterwards, by talking to the right people about what that could have been. But yeah, it was a horrible time, Dan. But
yeah, I remember you telling me about that before.
Animals are animals. You can't control when an animal is going to be good.
No, you have to read it. Like they say, you got to read the room. If you're a zookeeper, they say you got to read the room where animals are concerned. You got to know. You got to read them and think what they're going to do before they even do it, because nobody knows what's going on. Particularly with big cats and stuff like that, nobody knows what's going on behind their eyes.
No. Scary movie.
Oh yeah, Stephen King one, wasn't it? Pet Sematary.
Yeah. So we also have Headless Horseman on his horse. The Headless Horseman is seen right across the country, and people hear the clip clop clip clop clip of him coming. Some have seen him, some haven't. haunted carriages that appear on people's drives, you know, these stately homes. And again, the horses are arriving. You hear the horses.
I was at a pub once and I heard it was a team meeting for a paranormal team that I was with years ago over in Boreham Wood, over by the filming studios and stuff. And we were in a pub there, and it was our hub. We used to meet there every Thursday, and we just run through items on the agenda. And I heard audibly, like it was behind me, this neighing, like whinnying, I think they call it, don't they? And I could hear it, but it was distant, but it was. Do you know what it makes sense?
Yeah,
it was near, but distant. And I said to the guy, it was a medium, good medium actually, Mick, really good medium. But I said to him, I've just heard a horse whinnying. He said, yeah, I'm not surprised. He went, this used to be the stables.
Brilliant.
Unreal, isn't it? So they,
why can't we ever catch these things on audio, Dan?
I know.
No, we never have the voice recorder going just when you need it, you know?
No, I know. But there are, I mean, definitely, that you know, the animals survive, their spirit survives death, I believe, as much as a human does. Why wouldn't it? You know, why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I remember saying to somebody once, if there aren't any animals in the next life, not sure I really want to go there.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
You know, because there's no joy without animals.
No.
But
don't forget, Dan, they do say that the barn owl, when he's out at night and he's flying, because his wings are so
the
wide,
ghost owl,
and he's all white underneath, he looks like a ghost flying, doesn't he? Like, and people had seen that back in history and thought that they saw a ghost.
Ghost owl, yeah. Because they, as you say, they fly and their underbelly's white, and of course they're always hanging around cemeteries because there's rodents, little mice around it. They live on, you know, rodents and stuff. But yeah, they're interesting. A lot of people have misconceptions over the years with different things, you know. But I think there's grains of truth in a lot of these myths and legends. Definitely, I think there's more than the odd grain of truth in them.
Well, I am going to take you.
We've lost connection, Viv. We've lost our animal roots.
I am going to take you to a place where the black shuck has been seen locally to me. And there's also within that, there is also a folklore, a policeman that went missing.
Oh, so that's right. Yeah.
So you got the black shuck and the policeman together. Did the black shuck eat the policeman, or did he come across the black shuck and died because it's supposed to be the black shuck is supposed to be the devil dog.
He's a portent of, or an omen of death, isn't he? Or a portent
an omen of death, yes.
Meant to be, they say. But yeah, I mean, but then I've heard of people seeing him, but not actually coming to any particular harm.
I don't know. Could he have stared into the eyes of that devil dog?
Is he another cryptid?
Who knows?
Who knows?
But we will get to we'll try and get to the bottom of that one in due course. So later this year we'll go over there, because I don't particularly want to go in nasty
winter. No, and we got to go looking for the dog man over in a park near me somewhere.
Oh, the dog man, yeah. Hi, Craig.
Hiya, Greg.
Oh, I called him Craig. Greg. Sorry, Greg. Sorry.
What do you call him, man?
I called him Craig. It's Greg.
Greg, yeah.
Yes. Terrible.
But yeah, so there are. I mean, there are lots of people that I've spoken to that have had sort of over the years that have had encounters with spirits of animals, and yeah, it's.
I think it makes it interesting. It does make it interesting, though, Dan, because I think a lot of paranormal investigators, they make the mistake of, I want to see a ghost, and they expect to see a figure of a person, whereas you might see the ghost and it's a cat or a dog,
yeah, exactly,
or the horse, you know. And
you're right, and that reminds me of another story, actually, a true story. A friend of mine bought a house, and they were a young couple, and they had a pet cat, and it was a Victorian house, like an old workman's cottage, and it was in Hertford. It was actually in Weir, and they bought this house, and they said this cat used to come in. And they thought, oh, their cats attracted this cat. And they had like a wood burner, open fire type of thing. And their cat, used to like snuggle up in front of it, and the other cat would come in, and that would snuggle up in front of it as well. But the cat, they could never get near the cat. This cat, they just couldn't get near it. It didn't really want anything to do with them, but it was happy in the company of their other cats. So, okay, well, that's fine. We'll put food down for it and all that. And they realised that the food was being eaten, but it was their cat that was eating both sets of food because it was getting fat.
Yeah.
But they said this cat, they knew there was something wrong because this cat got up one day and walked straight through the fireplace. Gone. Just gone.
Wow.
Walked through it. And it was like,
amazing story.
That's why it's not eating anything. It's a spirit cat.
Yeah.
And I said to the girl, I said, did it come back again? She, oh yes, when it came back, it comes back quite often. She said, but we're fine with it. We just watch the TV or listen to the radio. She went, and the cat's there. She went, we're not fussed by it. And these are the level-headed people that didn't really give any credence to that. But obviously, once you've seen it and experienced it, there's no going back, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a story. No, it's folklore. And Dan, this is another. I'm not going to mention the place because me and you will be going there at some point to investigate that when we're a bit fit and healthier. But there is, and I know of 2 cases in the UK, and this one is one of them, where there are reports of a masturbating monkey that reappears. Now, this one that I know about...
Is it on my estate? Because sometimes I have the curtains open. I don't know if anybody's on.
No. So this one that I'm going to take you to is it's like a baboon that type.
Oh, I know the one. I know the place. Yeah.
And it's been seen masturbating, and it appears, and it's a ghost of a masturbating monkey. And there is a famous house or a hall, big mansion house, that also has a masturbating monkey, and it's actually been seen. Apparently, these have been seen. But, you know, no photographs have surfaced of these masturbating monkeys or, whatever it is that they want to do. But why show itself masturbating? And it's most happiest. I don't know. It's weird.
I know with a lot of primates, it's a dominance thing. They do that as a dominance thing. It's just like, like I'm an alpha male or what have you. But, yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting.
And like the big cat thing as well, like people say, oh, this terrible smell. I remember as a child walking past the jaguar cage and this thing pissed on me.
It's ammonia, isn't it?
It smelt, and I smelt disgusting. I had to walk around smelling disgusting for the rest of the day. And my dad even got bin bags out the back of the car and put them on the seat. So I could have, even though my clothes were dry, he said, no. He said, and he was, don't touch nothing because you smell bad. He said, just sit on these. So the thing is, could these animals, you smell that smell? Are these animals trying to tell us, hey, I'm here, look at me, in their way?
It could be territory marking. It could be anything, couldn't it? As you say, like that wet dog smell, that can come from 1,001 different animals with fur.
Yeah.
Squirrel monkeys, they do? Yeah, squirrel monkeys do that. Actually, a friend of mine got sexually assaulted by a squirrel monkey. He's a zoologist, and he was at the zoo one day, and I was talking to him, and a monkey, my friend had a ponytail, and he specialised in reptiles and primates, and this monkey got hold of his ponytail, squirrel monkey, pulled it into the enclosure, and started using it to masturbate with.
Oh, well, while it was on his head, like just put him into the...
Pulled the hair back and started using the hair. We laughed. He didn't. We laughed.
I wouldn't as well. Go home and wash my hair straight away. Oh dear.
Yeah, squirrel monkey.
Has anybody got any questions? Anybody got any questions in the chat at all? Want to know anything about, or want to discuss anything animal-wise tonight? We will visit that. Abattoirs. I'm just thinking, like over here in the UK, they were 10 a penny. We used to have a lot of them now. You don't really hear of people going to investigate the old abattoir anymore.
No.
And hearing about the the animals in the abattoirs. But that, I can imagine that would be awful. But you know, all the grounds.
Yeah, I used to
of
pick up meat
abattoirs.
from an abattoir once for the big cats and the wolves.
Mm.
We used to go there and pick the meat up. The place stunk. It was like, well, it was a slaughterhouse, but it was awful.
Smell of death.
Yeah, it just stunk. It was rank. It was awful. But yeah, that's life, I suppose, isn't it? Really, but horrible. But that's it.
Yeah.
Have we got any more questions out there?
No, they've all gone quiet in the chat. I mean, must have upset
It must be a stimulating conversation. We must be mesmerising them.
It's because we were talking about masturbating monkeys.
Well, we can't. Yeah, I mean that's it. And we've taken the world of the paranormal. We've pulled it into the gutter, like we so often do.
Yeah, this is what we do here. So next week. So what do you want to talk about next week? Do you want to do the manifestations, pictures of manifestations? Now,
yeah, you can do photos. Screen. Yeah, photos and stuff like that.
Ones that were ones we've taken, ones that the famous ones. We can get hold of them. We can put them up if you like, and we can discuss those.
Yeah.
For example, the Brown Lady of where's that place in Norfolk she's supposed to hold?
What's the hall called?
Raynham Hall.
I need to Rayleigh. Raynham, you're right, Raynham Hall. And you've also got the monk standing next to see, they're interesting, Mary, aren't they?
The altar.
That's
the one. Yes,
it's got a sack. Was debunked.
So was the Brown Lady.
And it was clever. The guy who debunked it was very clever.
So we'll do that next week. We'll talk about manifestations.
Definitely.
Some that we've taken, the big fakes out there, the famous ones. We'll talk about that next week, shall we?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good topic, really.
Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Mary.
What I'll do is I'll try and do a poster beforehand to remind everyone, because I didn't do today, really. I should have done.
Yeah, it's all right. And it was okay. It worked all right. That monkey stuff was pretty funny. Cheers, Greg.
Great. Honestly, we have masturbating monkeys over here. Do you get masturbating monkeys over in Texas or in America? Anywhere? I'd like to know.
In America must have masturbating monkeys.
It can't just be an English thing when we've got two masturbating monkeys. I mean, wasn't the other one a chimpanzee that's supposed to masturbate? I can't remember.
There's a few different ones, isn't there? There's the baboon, isn't there, which is an ape.
Yeah.
There is a chimp, isn't there? Yeah, I think there is a chimp.
It's called gorillas. Masturbating gorillas. Shadow figures, what are they? Good topic.
Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, interesting, Terry.
We're doing
a lot more of them recently popping up.
We're doing manifestations next week, and we can do that one the week after.
Yeah.
Remind us, Terry.
It's a good subject, because it's. I have seen a few, and I think Terry has as well. In fact, I know Terry has. I'm sure he has. And I got so close to one, I could have touched it literally, but it was. Never really used to hear about them.
Save that for the show.
Will do. But you never heard about them, did you, until the last few years, really? And all of a sudden they're popping up everywhere. And yeah.
Well, I think people need to be more on the lookout for spirit animals. They do exist.
Definitely
do. I'm going to show you my project. It's all to do with animals. I have a project where in voodoo there is a law that they have these things. They're all decorated, and I did buy one once, but I ended up giving it to my son-in-law. But anyway, I've decided I'm going to make my own one. So people have rabbit foots for good luck, don't they? Do you remember we used to have a rabbit foot on a key ring, and it would be like a good luck thing?
It wasn't good luck, the rabbit.
No, but you don't get them anymore. But is my.
There's loads around here.
No, the rabbit foot on a key ring.
Oh, no.
So I've decided this is my
chicken foot.
My chicken foot. So I painted it. I've not finished this yet. I've painted it. I've half painted it. Look, there's the other half. I've half painted it.
Was that a real
silver.
chicken foot?
Yeah.
Oh, is
And then
it?
I'm going.
Oh.
So I've got to decorate it now and put my cords and stuff around it, and you're supposed to hang this up, and you hang them up, and it's supposed to ward evil spirits away.
Yeah. I've got a chicken foot here. Enough trouble. I'm not trouble getting my shoes on.
God damn. So yeah, so you've got the voodoo element. So I'm not into voodoo, but I've got the chicken foot. I'm decorating it because I'm not going to pay all this money just to have one of these voodoo chicken foots.
No.
I'm going to make my own. So I've started the project and I've got as far as painting my chicken foot.
Where did you get the foot from? I don't say chicken. Where did you get the foot from?
I bought it in a market.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I mean, they give them.
Is it an African or Jamaican thing that they make soup with chicken feet?
Could be, I don't know.
I think it is.
But this is for dogs to chew on. You know, like pig's ears and snouts. Well, I bought a chicken foot and I thought, right, I'm going to paint this and I'm going to make my voodoo talisman. I might even bring it out on investigations with me to see if it does anything with spirits and
stimulates anything.
Yeah, put the EMF meter on it. I know it's got silver paint on it, but I don't think that'll affect EMF.
No,
but, yeah,
right.
it's just a little thing that, you know, rather than having a haunted doll, let's see if we can make a haunted chicken foot.
That is true. That is true.
Something a little bit different.
So we are back. We're on tomorrow night. It might be that Joanne. That is where I'm probably mixing it up with. It might be China. I'm thinking of. It might be China. It's creepy. People will miss them because they are
about shadow people.
Yeah, true, Terry.
Yeah.
It's true. People live in them bloody front of their phones now, don't they? Or behind them. But yeah, so tomorrow night we're on Simply Spooky, aren't we? On your channel.
Tomorrow we got a fantastic guest coming on, and he's an archaeologist and a lecturer for the Church's Conservation Trust, and he will be talking about strange items found in buildings, and mainly churches. Can't wait to have this guy on tomorrow.
No, it's exciting.
I hope you can join us. It's tomorrow at UK time at 8 o'clock. We'll be going live with this gentleman. So yeah, look out for that. That's going to be brilliant. I'm excited. Can't wait.
I'm intrigued to see to learn more about the what do they call, like the witch circles and stuff, and the patterns that they put in churches as well. That'd be quite interesting. He's probably found a few of them over the years, I would imagine, that have been tucked away and hidden.
And maybe some animals, like I know that they would put on they found mummified cats, one of them in King's Lynn, just down the road from me. So yeah, it'd be interesting.
It'd be really interesting. Really interesting. So exciting to look forward to listening to that, having a chat with him, won't we, Viv? We're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tomorrow night. 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
Mason signs.
Mason signs as well. Yeah, churches are full of those, Terry, aren't they?
But they also found finding like animals and things like that in churches too. It's not just what us humans used to do to animals back in the day. I just think
it's horrific.
And what we're still doing as humans. I think it's horrible. You know.
Yeah, it is. It's vile. Absolutely vile.
But there you go. Any more questions on animals before we start wrapping this up? We've been on a while now. You got any questions, Dan? Anything you want to ask me?
Me?
I'll ask you a question.
Go on, ask me.
If you could see any animal in spirit, any spirit animal on an investigation, could be anything, absolutely anything, what is the one animal you'd love to have first that contact with, and then they say animals can project thoughts and things like that. So what if you could have a conversation then with that particular animal, what would you ask it?
A wolf.
And what would you ask it?
I'd probably ask it. It all depends on when it died, I suppose. Over here, it would have been centuries ago. So I would ask it to what degree they were hunted, and how fearful were they. And I would also ask it about the social network within a wolf pack. I want to know from a wolf how it works, not from scientists who study them. I want to know from the actual wolf how it works. I think that'd be interesting.
Do you know what one I'd pick out of all the animals? You're going to be surprised now.
Squirrel monkey.
No.
A wanking squirrel monkey.
No, I know they're horrible. They are not one of them. You know those great big tall stalks, the Japanese stalks with the big bill.
Oh yeah, like a crane.
And he sort of do this and they go, and it bows.
Yeah,
I don't know what that's
like a crane,
called.
is it?
It's like a crane, but it's bigger. It doesn't fly.
I know they're in the lot of Chinese paintings and Japanese paintings and stuff, aren't they?
It just bows at you. It's a really sacred animal. It's I don't know what you would call it. It's like a great big massive, like sort of a big bill like this, and it just bows.
I know. Yeah.
So
I've been lucky enough to look after certain sacred animals. I looked after ibis, which are the Egyptian birds.
Yes.
Looked after those. They were lovely. And I looked after a zebu, which is the sacred Indian cow.
I know zebu, yeah.
She was gorgeous. I loved her to pieces. And she passed away, and it broke my heart because she was a sweet little thing, really lovely little thing. Yeah, and I can see why people do treat them as sacred, because there's something, and the birds and that cow, because there's something very spiritual about them. Something very, I don't know, raw and real and honest, you know. But yeah, I'd like to speak to any animal, really, all of them, if I could.
Terry says he'd like to speak to a dinosaur.
Yeah, that'd be good.
He'd get eaten by that.
Unicorn, yeah.
Showing the unicorn. Mary thinks it's interesting. A blue hero.
Blue hero.
I think she's talking a heron. She's talking about the
the
Japanese.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Harry. Yeah, yes.
I don't think it is a heron.
Toucan.
No, it's not a pelican. Hi, Nick.
Hiya, Nick. Hope you're good.
I don't know what it's called. It's like a crane type bird.
I know. I think it is a crane, isn't it?
No, it's grey.
It's got like a big bill, isn't it?
Japanese. I'm going to put here. I'm going to Google it now. Japanese bird, big bill.
Water bird, waterfowl.
Big bill. Let's see. Here it is. It's called a shoebill.
Shoebill.
Here it is. That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
It. Yeah.
It's a shoebill. That's what it looks like. It looks like a dinosaur in itself. Look at it. And they're the most
cool bird, isn't it?
amazing birds. But yeah, that's what it is. It's a shoebill.
Brilliant. We can put that to bed now. We can put that to bed now.
I knew what I meant. So yeah, if you ever get the chance, have a look at the shoebill on YouTube or Google it. Shoebills. They shake their heads and they make this knocking sound. They go. And they bow at you. They're very, very interesting animals. But that would be the bird that I would want to take it on a ghost hunt and see how it would react to spirits. That would be an amazing thing.
Like Lois was saying earlier about, I think it was about Jacqueline's dog, wasn't she? About it picking up on spirit energies. And I had a dog that could, Smokey, the dog I was talking about. She could see things that I couldn't see, and she would lose it and go bark. If I took her out for a walk at night, there's woods, and I'd take her into the woods. They are impressive, Nick. I'd take her into the woods at the back of where we lived at night because it was nice and quiet, particularly in the summer. And she would look at things, and there'd be nothing there. And maybe she was looking at birds or something. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But she was definitely barking at things, which was quite unusual for her anyway, because she didn't really ever sort of bark, even indoors.
The thing is, though, Dan, as you know, my home's really haunted, but not all the time. It's only certain times, and it is interactive. And I have a cat. I've got 2 cats, and I have this cat called John that I absolutely adore. I love that cat.
Yeah, he's lovely.
He's beautiful. But he, when I had this thing appear next to me, it was too close that it frightened me. The cat sits on his cat tree, and he was up on his cat. He was up on his cat tree at the time of this happening, and he didn't react to it. He did not react to what I was seeing, and it was so bad that I had to run around the house and throw all the lights on.
And John didn't react to it.
He did not react to it, and I had a pot thrown at me. Do you remember I told you about
that? Was pot? Upstairs, wasn't it?
Yeah, the cats, the animals are not reacting to it. So all this about animals will react to spirit and things like that, I think the question is, why is it some do, some don't, or do they react sometimes, not all of the time?
It's weird, isn't it? I know a lot of animals see in like a different light spectrum to us.
Yeah.
And of course, audibly, they can pick up sounds that are below the sounds of human hearing and above it, hence dog whistles. So whether they can pick up on, whether their audio and visuals helping them to tune into different dimensions or different frequencies, I don't know. But it's an interesting thought and subject.
Do you think that these animals, like my dog, for example, had a Rottweiler called Baby, who was very lazy, and he was spoiled. But he would lie upside down on the sofa with his paws like this, asleep half most of the time. And even when somebody knocked on the door, it would be a woof, because he couldn't be asked to get off the chair, you know. Do you think that these animals could be some like us? Some are in tune to it, some are not. Some want to be,
or it could be a case that they're so uniquely tuned into the spirit world or other dimensions, other vibrations, that it could be that they just, a lot of the time, they don't acknowledge it.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. They just can't be bothered. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could be like you say. It could be some like us, because I've got no psychic abilities at all, not whatsoever.
But then Sophie's got that one eye, which is not right. It's got the red bit in the middle.
She's got David Bowie eye, hasn't she?
She's got a blue eye with red in the middle, and the other one's green with black in the middle. And they say that, and that eye does not dilate at all. So is it that because maybe she might be partially sighted, and I don't know about, and she's just unaware of things going on?
Exactly. I mean, it could be a million and one things, couldn't it? It could be. So I've often wondered about the abilities for their, like, the vision and the audio, or like the audio abilities of dogs and cats and all animals, really.
What about albinos? Do you think albinos are more susceptible than normal, or the opposite?
What, animals, you mean?
Albinos, animals and people.
I've no idea. I know that albino. I don't know if it's, I'm assuming it's the same for animals. I know that albinos can't take bright light, can they? Because it hurts their eyes. Because they haven't got there's something missing in the eyes. Something to do with the retina, I think. I'm not sure how it works. Wouldn't even like to say, but I know that they do suffer with quite acute pain they get when they're in sort of bright sunlight and stuff. I don't know. Isn't albinism, doesn't it cause like short-sightedness or something?
I know, like I had an albino neighbour and her brother, and I know when she used to talk to you, she was the same age as me. One of her eyes used to wander like that, used to flicker.
Yeah.
She's a lovely girl. Very beautiful. I thought she was amazing. Her hair was white.
It's so common now, is it? I used to know a couple of years ago. Went to school with a couple of them. Nice lads. 2 brothers. But yeah, you don't really see them now, do you, to be honest? Or not that many. There obviously are, but...
but they get a lot of albino animals.
You do. You get a lot of albino snakes, but a lot of them are bred that way. But yeah, a lot of them are pretty cool. But maybe that's got something to. Maybe I mean it could be a number of things, couldn't it, that they can pick up on? You know that they've got the ability to pick up on purely and simply because of their abilities. They're like
ability, the breed
smell as well. Is another thing, isn't it? It's their sense of smell is so acute. I remember they were saying like our sense of smell. If you put it on into size, ours would be like a little tiny block of linen that big.
Yeah.
Whereas if you had a wolf's sense of smell or a dog's, it would be like a sheet, a double bed sheet or a king size bed sheet. Put it in perspective. So something like 200
Super King.
yeah. Like 200 times their sense of smell is 200 times more acute than ours. So yeah, I don't know. It's odd, isn't it? Well, it really is odd.
Yeah. Right.
But they can pick up and think they're good intuitive as well. Animals are so intuitive as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they can almost, they know things before, you know, they start acting funny and you think, what's going on there? Then something will happen or you'll hear about something that's happened and then you'll be able to pinpoint it. You know, you've had to link it up to that when the animal was acting funny. It's just odd. They're very intuitive. Maybe they're natural psychics and mediums. I don't know.
Could be, yeah.
But it's intriguing. It is intriguing.
Something maybe we should look into a bit more over at, you know, we've got so many experiments that we want to do for Striking Midnight. So, and by the way, guys, Striking Midnight, you will find us on YouTube at Striking Midnight Paranormal. Give us a like if you like. Give us a like, subscribe. We would appreciate it.
Yeah, we'd love that if you came along and subscribed. Joined the family, as it were.
We go, Dan and I go, and well, we've got Tony now this year. We go everywhere investigating, and we put some of it up on YouTube, and we share our investigations with you. And they have been quite interesting, some of them.
Yeah.
We thought we got nothing.
And then all of a sudden we got stuff. We're sitting there twiddling our thumbs and just sitting there drinking coffee and thinking nothing's happening. It's been banging off all around us.
I've got Nick Muley. Now, Nick Muley, I must say.
Thanks, Nick.
I must say, he's got a book coming out. I don't know if it's published yet or whether it's on its way or sometime in February. I know Nick's got a book coming out with his ghost stories. So look out for that. I mean, look on, if you haven't already, I suggest you like Nick Muley's page and keep your eyes out because that book will be coming out. I am so excited about it.
Yes.
And I will be getting a copy, Nick. I want one signed. Yes. In fact, I want to meet you and get it signed. He's out in Chicago, so it's a bit of a distance to go. Right, talking of distance, it's 8:30, so we are going to call it a night.
Thank you.
But we will be back next week, Dan and I, talking about apparitions.
Yes, apparitions.
Apparitions? Yes. Or what Nick said something.
It's not actually my book, but it's an audio book series I received permission from the author to record the stories. Oh, well, there you go. Thanks, Nick.
Excellent.
Cleared that up. Thank you. So, yes, we're obviously on tomorrow night, aren't we? On Simply Spooky.
Yep.
On Facebook at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Or 8 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, depending on where you are in the world. I don't know what time zone you're in, but yeah, we're on it tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. And as Viv said, we've got a really exciting guest on.
Oh, shall we tell them?
Thanks, Nick. I'm really excited to be part of it, aren't we?
Shall we tell them what we're doing, Dan, for Nick?
Yeah, is it all right, Nick, to say, or what we're doing for you? Is that okay?
Let's just wait to see what he says. So what are we doing? Hang on, let me get my book out here. I've got that many laptops in this room. I've got a laptop graveyard going on here.
I've got a cupboard like that.
Have you?
Yeah, full of laptops, broken laptops. Oh, thank you. Nick says, go right ahead. Thank you, Nick. Spill the beans. Or what they say, spill the tea, isn't it?
Spill the tea. What's the scoop?
What's the scoop?
What's the scoop, Dan?
No, you tell, Viv. You tell.
The scoop is we are going to be reading a story from the book.
Narrating, I think it's called.
Narrating.
Narrating. Make you sound posh. There's nothing posh about us.
I'm going to be doing it with a common accent.
So
Common
we're
London
narrating
accent.
stories, aren't we, for Nick's book? So audio book. So that should be really good. We're looking forward to that. Thanks, Mary. Thanks for coming on this evening. It's lovely.
So tomorrow it's
Here, speak to you.
8 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, look at you! You're well clocked.
4 p.m. Eastern and 3 p.m. Is it SCST? What's that? Central? Is that Central?
I have no idea. Central Standard
Time.
Central Standard. I have no idea.
Yeah. So it'll be 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 4 p.m. Eastern, and 2 p.m. Central. There you go.
Or 7 o'clock if you're on the continent.
Yes,
oh,
Mary.
Excellent, Mary.
I think
wonderful.
I think we sent you the ones we wanted to do, so Nick's gonna let us know if we're reading those or not. Central Standard
Time. Well done, thanks, Nick. Thank you.
So we'll be 3 o'clock
Standard Time for future reference.
3 o'clock Central Standard Time tomorrow night. And Terry says, my time.
My time. My time.
My time. Right.
Thanks, Terry. As ever, mate. Thanks for coming along and listening in. It's really appreciated, buddy. Thank you. Everybody out there, thank you ever so much. Take it easy. Stay safe.
See you next week.
Be kind to each other, and we'll see you in a few. See you later.